Recently, UK Charts Plus released the list of the 200 biggest selling songs in the UK of 2012. I've already revealed my top 10 best and worst songs of that year purely from the top 100 list that was released after the songs were played on the final episode of Radio 1 of that year. This week, I've decided to take a change in pace and relive 2012 over again, so here they are. These are the top 10 worst bottom 100 songs of 2012. Number 10, Kesha Die Young. People drew comparisons to this song with Flo Rida's Good Feeling. I, however, would like to compare it to I Cry. Not that it's similar in sound, because it isn't, but because they both fall into a similar category, the trying to be deep in the song's message but failing miserably category. Kesha said that Die Young was supposed to be about a celebration of life and how everyone should live it to the full because it could end any time soon. All well and good if you want to write a song about that, but the problem here is that she doesn't. It's another song about wanting to screw some random person she just met despite the fact that he's already with someone. It's a song where Kesha tries to show a more serious side to her, but ultimately proves that she hasn't changed one bit from her TikTok days. Number 9, Pitbull, Back in Time. I'll give Pitbull credit, this is by far the least stupid and vapid song that he's released in his entire career, but that still doesn't make it a song worth listening to. In the context of which this song was written for, there are only 2 lines that reference Men in Black 3, and the rest of the song is once again Pitbull boasting about how great he is. You know, the only thing he ever writes about in every single song he's ever done. He's so great, in fact, that this song ended up at the arse end of the top 200 list. Number 8, Alicia Keys, Girl on Fire. I've never been a big fan of Alicia Keys. Personally, I think she's very overrated. For me, all of her songs have felt pretty bland, and nowhere is that more prevalent than with Girl on Fire. Not only is this a bland song, but it's a lazy song. Lyrically, this is Alicia at her worst, and vocally, this is Alicia at her most annoying. It's probably the most simplistic Alicia Keys song in a musical sense, and you'd think it'd be a breath of fresh air for her to do something a little more different than her other works. Instead, it adds to the layer of annoyance that the lyrics give out. And this is the version without Nicki Minaj's verse. That version was never released into the UK, and thank Christ, because if it was, then for certain it would have been higher on the list. Number 7, D'banj, Oliver Twist. Who? Exactly. All I know about this guy is that this was his one and only hit song anywhere in the world. The topic of this song is about a guy who craves women, famous women such as Rihanna, Nicki Minaj and Beyonce to be precise, and that it's a confession. Wow, groundbreaking. This guy fancies insanely sexy women. Well, Nicki Minaj is questionable. And guess what? So does every other heterosexual male in the world. Big deal. Besides, I wouldn't have even known the topic of this song unless I read the lyrics. The delivery is so muffled and slurred that you can barely tell what this guy is saying, and combined with music that sounds like you're in a drunken stupor, it makes you wonder. Number 6, Tyga, Rack City. I guess a consolation that I can take from this is the fact that this song only spent 1 week in the top 40, which is still 3 weeks, far too many. Usually in a song where someone is boasting about being able to get girls on their jock and the fact that they're richer than you, they're inclined to rub it in your face and taunt you about it, which is more annoying than sounding like they don't give a shit, which is how Tyga sounds in this track, but it's still annoying. Its lifeless delivery with a lifeless accompaniment makes for a track that I can only hope will be the first and last time we ever hear from this guy. Number 5, Rihanna, You Da One. I tend to find that the harder that Rihanna tries to look and sound sexy, that's when it comes off as unattractive and ugly. Much like the music video for Do It Like a Dude by Jessie J, Rihanna attempts to be seductive by gyrating and grinding on everything in sight, and it comes off as uncomfortable. What doesn't help is much like Where Have You Been, a song that I also put on my worst of 2012 list, it's a collection of yelling and stuttering that shows that the quality of Rihanna's work has plummeted to all new lows that unfortunately show no sign of her improving the quality of her work anytime soon. Number 4, Cher Lloyd, Want You Back. If Swagger Jagger is a song that is so bad that I can't help but be fascinated by the fact that it's Cher Lloyd's one and only UK #1 single, there's no fascination to be found with Want You Back. I'm only going to be repeating what everyone else has already said about this song, so I'll reiterate. Cher comes off as a petulant little shit who sounds like she's being constantly rammed up the arse by a foreign object after every single line. She has had more success in the States, and to that all I can say is that it's frightening that this song was one of the most popular songs of 2012. America, keep her. You're more than welcome to her. Number 3, Far East Movement featuring Justin Bieber, Live My Life. If this was the best that 11 writers could come up with, then they're in desperate need of a neurologist. After Like a G6 lost all its popularity within 5 minutes, I rejoiced in the fact that this was the last time I would ever hear from the Far East Movement. But every time hope starts welling up in me, it's quickly dashed, as this track does exactly that. I'm under no illusion that the only reason that this got popular as it did was due to the fact that Justin Bieber's name is on the track and that it was made for LMFAO's Party Rock remix. Wonder how Justin Bieber and LMFAO are doing now. Doing well, I see. The lyrics are another G6 ripoff about drinking, partying and getting wasted, like every other song they've ever released. Number 2, JLS, Hottest Girl in the World. In the UK, the battle of the boy bands hasn't been as prevalent here as it has been in the US. Whilst The Wanted and One Direction are going stronger than ever, JLS's popularity has waned drastically. You know what's also waned drastically? The quality of their work. Their first album showed promise with some decent tracks, but over time the quality of their work has plummeted horribly, taking too many pages out of the Wanted's book with songs like She Makes Me Wanna and embarrassingly lazy songs like The Club Is Alive and Do You Feel What I Feel. But The Hottest Girl in the World is by far the worst song they've ever released. It's boring beat and lyrics about wanting to screw someone who's already in a relationship is the most un-JLS I have ever heard. Recently they announced that they were splitting up, and you know what? I really don't care. I can only imagine what they would have done next. And the number 1 worst bottom 100 song of 2012 is Justin Bieber featuring Nicki Minaj, Beauty and a Beat. Arguably 2 of the worst artists alive today combining to create a piece of electropop garbage was always going to top the list. Not only has it tarnished the Disney movie Beauty and the Beast's name forever, but in an attempt to try and make Bieber reach an older audience, he just falls in line with the other artists who release nothing but trashy, generic songs about partying and getting laid. Because as we all know, those kind of songs are so few and far between. Boyfriend is more of an adult style song than this, but the crown jewel comes from none other than Nicki Minaj. Not only does her piece make no sense in the context of the song, I know, shock, but it once again proves that she is incapable about rapping about anything other than sex and bitches. Oh, and the 3012 lyric went out of style back with the Black Eyed Peas' 3008 lyric. Hell, it went out of style with Prince's 1999 lyric. The only difference here is that Prince is fucking awesome. Justin Bieber and Nicki Minaj are not, and they never will be.